Nobody is going to ruin me. If I have to, I will ruin myself. I've spent too much time, expended angelic energy on my own disintegration to hand the contract over to another now, as if it were a finished painting needing only a signature. You are not going to get to me. You are never going to be with me as once was. There will always be the poem. I will climb on top of it and come in and out of time, cocking my head to the side slightly as I finish shaking, melting then into its body. Its soft skin is not a lie. I'm glad you are at peace, but everything you know leads to ruins. It's a neat trick, my body rising each morning above the city, watching the boroughs recede into blocks of pumice and amber, amethyst. It's a harder trick, turning love that's lost in betrayal into something beside bitterness, into anything beside this rage. It's called poem. A lot of these are called poem, actually. I used to be big on titles, but now, I don't know. I wrote a lot of these poems very quickly, over a short period of time, and I just thought poem is good enough. John Ashbery once told me that he writes a title first and then writes poems, which have nothing to do with the title. It's just a little fact from Carroll Bloom. Vertigo, discord, and certain trees form the matrix for all alphabets. Each letter is true, every word false. Over there in that cabinet lives the salamander which I mentioned, with her entourage of fireflies. Ask your question the moment I open those doors. Then stand back quickly, she answers with flames. And don't dare underestimate the distance of her fire. This is also a poem, but I had this new record which has spoken word pieces with music on it and a lot of songs too. And this is one of my favorite, the music just is one of my favorite. So on the record it's called Female Asunder, which is the first line. Female asunder, the air filled with thought, felony, drainage. Saints follow Christ in tears. I followed a woman up 8th Avenue today. It was the color of her hair, ginger and Merovingian thick, percussive gentle, like shaking dry vanilla beans. It shivered on her head, down her neck, all the way to the 7th century. It has been discovered by satellite that the moon's magnetic pull slows the Earth's revolution approximately 1 second per day. 8 million years ago, a single day was barely 18 hours long. Deadlines were a bitch. This means that by the time I die, if fate delivers my trick, a common day will consist of 32 hours. Deadlines will be a bitch. But many can go out dancing literally 24 hours a day and still sleep for the 8 hours recommended by the Surgeon General of the United States. Unless you are an insomniac, in which case odds are you will go totally insane. The child within. Somebody told me my voice intimated that I had a child within crying to I'm crying real hard. My voice has a quiver. That's where you store the arrows before you shoot. My voice sings deeper than it speaks. Some people hear tears hidden in the words I say. I'm not afraid of, say, swarms of locusts. When I want to weep, I do. It's no different than pissing. Some nights I can feel my voice melting down in greenish layers and luminescent like a plutonium cough drop. At times I use my voice to laugh in order to prove I am a man. Once I whacked my voice with a 2x4 so the fruit would grow faster on the plum tree beside the house. I would utter a phrase, any phrase. It wasn't like a chant, nor ebb, nor flow. And when it was about 2.5 feet in front of me, I would just swing the wood and beat the living crap out of whatever I said. It's so cool because you can put them on the floor and knock it over and it doesn't spill. So you got to pull this up and down. It's great. I discovered it. I mean, I didn't discover it and patent it, or else I wouldn't be here. No, I would. So I'm going to stop doing this. It's microphone. But it is really good. This is called train surfing. Oh, this one's got cool music too on the record, but it does require, and see, this guy wanted me to write a screenplay about these kids in the poor part of Rio de Janeiro, you know. You know, when you see from, you know, the huge statue of Christ on the mountain, from the front of it, everything is, you know, touristy and luxurious and white beaches and, you know, bikinis and bombs and stuff. But from the back, when you see the back of it, of Christ, you're in big trouble, man, because that's the whole part of town, and it's like all these kids, the death squad is offing, and he showed me this footage he took down there, and for recreation, what they do is they surf on top of bullet trains, you know, like they just get on top of them, sometimes like 10 guys in a car, and these trains are going like 110 miles an hour, and they're like surfing on top, you know, ducking wires and stuff. And some of them are like sniffing glue while they're doing it, you know, which is really a feat. You know, you don't see guys in Hawaii on their surfboard sniffing glue. That wouldn't work. But these guys can do this, so it was impressive. So I put myself in that spot. I don't know what I mean by that, but it's called train surfing. I'm surfing atop a bullet train, surfing along the equatorial line at 90 miles per hour, surfing through the rainforest, through the tin shack terraces of the suburbs of Brazil. The faster we move, the better. I've made the vow to be decapitated by sudden wires in the air, or swept away by the trickster winds of Exu Eligiba, who surfs beside me, tattooed into my flesh, not by ink, but by fire. Exu, the god of the crossroads, the messenger god, the god of the railroads, who laughs, as do I, at the commuters beneath in their seats. They hear me stomping above, testing the speed and sharp turns. I know when I return to the city, all that awaits me are the tunnels where we crawl to sleep, or the public parks with their clean breeze of tyranny, and soldiers on patrol, and all the faces turned away because we were forgotten before we were known. When I return to the city, the only thing that awaits me is midnight and the death squad, an expanding bullet in my brain.